Hey y'all, my name is Ale, and I just started this YouTube channel because I felt like the Lord is inviting me to share my story with more people than are immediately available to me at my church or in my community. So yeah, I am excited about it, but it's also something super new to me. I don't really even know how to edit videos, but here I am. Yeah, so thanks for watching this. And yeah, I'm just gonna get right into my testimony. And I just hope that this can either bring you more faith if you're already walking with Jesus, or if you're not walking with Jesus yet. I hope that it will bring you just a renewed hope that your life can be so much better, that there is a God that loves you deeply and that wants you to know him, and that he is very much alive, still saving and still healing, and he wants to do the same for you. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. I was born and raised in Brazil. I was raised Catholic, going to a Catholic school, so very much learning what it meant to be a Catholic person, to pray a certain way, to do things a certain way, and really learning the stories of the Bible, but not really having any form of Christianity modeled to me and the people around me. Living in Brazil was very much a mixture of being Catholic, but also the idolatry and of other religions and the superstitions that were present in Brazil. So it's a very confusing mix where I didn't know where the line was and it wasn't clear to me. So that was really confusing growing up. And I just didn't really understand what it meant to have a relationship with Jesus, or what it meant to be obedient to him, or to want to put him in front of any decision that you make. So that was very far from where my life was. And then going into high school, I got into the party scene, started making a lot of friendships with people that were also doing everything that the world puts in front of us, pursuing drinking. And yeah, so after being in high school and living life this way, thinking that everything was fine and that I knew what I was doing, I moved to the US for college in 2015, and I went to the University of Iowa, and I was just surrounded with people that didn't really have a relationship with God or pursue any form of Christianity. So it was very easy for me to distance myself even more from that, and just think that I was doing great, that everyone around me was doing great, that this was what life was about, having fun and pursuing a career that will make money, and not really thinking about what these decisions meant for the rest of my life. And the more that I was in the party scene, the more I was exposed to bad relationships, and my idea of love was very twisted. I didn't really understand what love was anymore, because what I was living and seeing around me was just very messed up, honestly. And yeah, so I got into a relationship with someone that was really aggressive. When he would drink, he would break things, he would yell, he would just say extremely mean things, and just, it was something that I had never gone through before. But at the same time, I was falling in love with this person, and I thought, he's not like this always, he loves me, we can get through this together. And I just got further and further into this relationship and not really understanding what I was really getting myself into. And yeah, we were basically living together at this point. And I distanced myself from my friends and just was completely losing control of my life to him. And I couldn't really understand or see that at the time. And then when we graduated college, we moved to Minnesota, where his family was from. And it was really hard because he had a really rough childhood. So he would always have big fights with his family. And I also wasn't used to that growing up. So it was like there would always be tension, and things would be even worse for us because it felt like everything was always on edge. And we got married, and things just kept spiraling and getting out of control, and things just got worse and worse. And I felt like I was losing complete control of my life. And I was just seeing too that it really wasn't the party scene or a behavior that happened here and there. Like, this is how he was treating me every day. And there was no escape from it. Like, that was the life that I had. And I started losing hope that I would experience freedom or joy or love. I just started thinking how I would raise kids in this abusive home, and that like that this was life now. And it was just a really painful time in my life. When I was getting towards the end of law school, we just sat down and had a conversation of how terrible things were in Minnesota, especially with all the family drama. And we thought, like, maybe if we move somewhere else, like, things will get better. Then we moved to Florida. I got a job at a law firm there, and I thought things would be great. I loved my job. It was a great job. I was working as an immigration attorney, and yeah, things just kept getting worse. He absolutely hated Florida, and he would just tell me, I am absolutely miserable here. So I'm going to make you miserable. And I just started feeling like there was no escape from my situation. And I didn't feel like I could truly share it with people at work because he's my husband, the person that's supposed to love me more than anyone else. And I'm terrified of him. I don't even want to go home because he's gonna explode about something, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells whenever I'm at home. And it was just a really painful time. And my sister had a year off before med school, and she came to Florida and she was living with us, and she was seeing things that I wish she had never seen, and I just felt like I was completely out of control. Like, there was no hiding this anymore. Like, my life was in complete ruins. And at this time, I started having epiphanies about faith. Thank you, Jesus, for stepping into my life. But yeah, that's how it started. I bumped into the K-Love radio one day and started listening to worship music, and I didn't even know what worship music was, but I knew that this music brought me so much peace. So that's all that I would listen to when I was driving. It was K-Love, and I was loving these songs and not knowing how to explain why this was bringing me so much peace. And then I just started having like these thoughts that would cross my mind, like, there is a whole part of society that deeply believes in Christianity, and I was just like, they must really believe it. And just these thoughts would like cross my mind, and I was like, I should read the Bible because I claim to be Catholic, but here I am living life my way, not even going to church. And I'm like, I don't even know truly what I believe in. And I started having these moments and feeling like curious about my faith. And for the first time, my uncle called me and shared his faith. And my uncle is from a Protestant Reformed church in Brazil, and he told me, not trying to sugarcoat anything, for the first time, he just straight up told me, what you're experiencing is evil, and there's one way out of it, and it's with Jesus. Grab a Bible and start praying. And I was like, what? I didn't expect that to be his solution, or that God would miraculously move in my life, that he would solve all my problems. Like, I believed in God, but I didn't know that God could move that way. So, but the way he spoke about his faith, it gave me hope. So I started reading the Bible and started praying, and just surrendering my life to Jesus, every night, just being really like kneeling by my bed and saying, Jesus, my life is in your hands. Do with it what you want. Um, at first it was scary. I was like, what am I even, like, I've never prayed this kind of prayer before, but at the same time, I have messed up my life. Everything that I chose has gone wrong. And the more I read the Bible, the more I saw how I made decisions literally. Like, it was almost like every advice that the Bible gave, I was like, I did the opposite. And that's why my life is in chaos. And yeah, and it was just this beautiful and messy surrender of where I'm trying to understand what the right thing is when I'm still in the mess of like my life, how it was at the time. And at the same time, I just felt that Jesus wasn't pointing a finger at me, that he was truly inviting me into relationship with him, that he had his arms wide open, and that he would guide me through the process of getting my life together, that I didn't have to have it all perfect, but that every time that he would bring something to me, that he would ask me to give it to him and to let him sort it out. And that's how it started. And I just started having this like 100% sureness that he was going to make a way for me to leave, that I didn't have to do anything. And I didn't know how to explain that, but I just knew that he was going to make this moment come about, and I just had to wait. So time was going by. I'm reading my Bible. I would wake up 1 hour before work, before like my usual, like to get time to get ready for work, and I would just read a Bible for 1 hour. And I was in the Old Testament. I decided to read it cover to cover. And yeah, I was just like in awe of who God is and how he has moved in very mighty ways all throughout the Bible, and all these stories of like miracles that he's done. And I was like, wow, like this is the God that I want to follow. And it was just beautiful. And at the same time, I'm like waiting for this moment to come, but knowing that it will come and that I just need to wait on him, but every day feeling stronger and more hopeful. And then in about 2 months of reading the Bible, I felt like we should find a church to go to. I wanted more than just me at home. I wanted to find a place where I could learn from someone teaching me about the Bible, as I'm like learning what it even means to be a Christian for the first time. And then we find this church, that's also in Brazil, that my uncle attends, but that they also have a like a branch in Florida, I guess. I don't know if that's the term. But yeah, so we go to that church, and my sister and I just surrender our lives to Jesus, and we're bawling, and there's people laying their hands on us and praying over us. And it was different than anything that I had ever experienced. And I just felt tangibly that God was with us, and that he was going to make a way. And then the next day, my sister had a doctor's appointment. She had been experiencing this terrible, terrible stomach pain for years. It got to the point where she couldn't even go to work some days because she would just be curled up in a ball, bawling her eyes out because it was so painful. But no one could diagnose what it was. And it was hard because I was seeing her go through this. We didn't know how to fix it. And people are just telling her it's in your head, it's stress. And yeah, it was wild because the day after we go to church, we went to church on that Sunday, and then on that Monday, they finally find what was wrong with her. And they tell her she needs immediate surgery because she has a huge stone in her gallbladder that needs to be removed. And they schedule her surgery for that same Friday. And even the nurse is like, I don't even understand, but we have an opening. It usually takes weeks, but there's an opening this Friday. I guess the surgery is this Friday. So everything was just like happening in ways that no one could explain, but we're like, yeah, God is moving. And it was just really beautiful to see him do that, especially after like she had been in pain for so long. And then my mom flew in from Brazil to be with her for the surgery, and my ex's family came to Florida for vacation. And I was like, wait a minute. When would my mom and his family ever be in Florida at the same time? We are not originally from this state. Like, when, like, I was just like, something is different. That everyone is here. And I just started asking, like, God, is this the moment that you have for me to leave? Because this feels like different. And I just started feeling this peace that, yes, that it was the moment. And I didn't know how to explain it, and I knew it was gonna be messy, but I was also like, okay, if this is the moment, then where am I gonna go? And I started crying out to God, like, God, okay, show me where to go. Show me, I need you to pick, and I need you to show me. And I woke up the next day and I had a vision of a waterfall, and it was the first vision that I had ever had. So I didn't really know what to make of it, but I knew that it happened. So I told my sister, and she's like, okay. And I'm like, no, it happened. I just don't know like what it means. So I'm like trying to find waterfalls in the Bible, and nothing makes sense to me. But I'm like, I don't know. I know this means something, but God, can you explain it? Or something. But yeah, so we started looking for places to move into, and we didn't really know what that would look like. So we found a hotel that had a 1 month stay. We're like, let's go check it out. We'll see what it looks like. And as we're driving in, there's a huge waterfall. And it just hit me that this is what God meant with that waterfall, that this was the place that he had for us. And as we walked in the hotel lobby, in one of the event spaces, they had a church service happening, and it said the Lord has done great things for us and we are filled with joy. And I just knew, wow, like God pointed us here, his presence is here, and we're gonna be fine. Like, he is the one picking and making the decisions. So we moved into that hotel, and it was messy. I mean, all my stuff and my sister's stuff is in this studio style apartment, that not even apartment, we didn't even have a kitchen. We had a microwave and 2 mini fridges. All our stuff is in this one room, and we're sharing a bed. My sister's recovering from surgery, but at the same time, I just had this peace that God has made a way for us. He removed my sister's pain, and he removed me from that relationship. And I also was in the Old Testament, so I had just seen the Israelites be delivered from slavery to Egypt and be in the wilderness. And I knew that God had removed me from my prison, and that I was in a moment of wilderness, and it was okay because I knew he had something better. And I was just happy. I was just excited, even though it was messy, it was beautiful. And I praise Jesus for that. And yeah, after that, God led us to move to Colorado, to find the Heights Church, where I currently work at. And yeah, I would be happy to share more about how all of those things happened and how I left my job as an immigration attorney to work in ministry full time. I share this in the hopes that it will either renew someone's strength and faith in Jesus, or that it will just completely break through the evil in their life, and that they will have hope again, that they can trust in the God who saves. And if I can give you one piece of advice, if you're in a mess right now and you don't see a way out, is grab a Bible and start praying. That is the best advice that I have ever received, and my life is completely changed because of it. So yeah, if you have any questions or things that you want to hear more about, please put that in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'd love some feedback. This is completely new, but I'm just excited for what God is going to do through this channel. So yeah, God loves you, and he has a plan for you. So just trust in him. Thank you so much for listening, and yeah, have a good one. Bye.